13 parents are sentenced to jail for bribing to get their kids to a kindergarten. The electric vehicle 1-for-1 replacement scheme is ending today. Japan says long-range missiles with counter-strike capabilities are brought into service for the first time. Good evening and welcome to TVB News. In the case involving the bribery of staff at an ESF kindergarten to secure priority admission, 13 parents have been sentenced to between 8 and 11 months behind bars, while a middleman received a 14-month prison term. ESF applications typically receive priority status if the children's parents are staff members or alumni, or they have siblings who are already students. But the children involved in the cases did not fit the criteria, with some being ranked as far back as 212 on the waiting list. The judge says their conduct deprived children from law-abiding families of fair enrollment opportunities. The offences took place between 2018 and 2021 when Fatima Ramjan, a former administrator at ESF Wukaisha International Kindergarten, accepted bribes from 13 parents and an intermediary to arrange priority admission for 12 children. Ranging from $20,000 to $200,000, the bribes totaled about $1.1 million. The administrator earlier admitted to multiple bribery charges and turned prosecution witness. Ramjan says some bribes were delivered through covert and roundabout means. In one instance, a parent met the administrator in a park toilet cubicle to hand over $100,000. Some parents asked her to pose as a takeaway customer at McDonald's, allowing her to collect a paper bag containing cash. In mitigation, some defendants say their actions were motivated by their children's interests rather than personal gain and urged the court to consider community service or suspended sentence. Deputy Judge Amy Chan rejected the pleas, stressing that their conduct deprived children from law-abiding families of fair admission opportunities. In sentencing, the judge says the court had taken into account factors that the defendants are first-time offenders, as well as their prior good character and the impact on their families. However, she stresses the need to consider the broader harm to society, noting that school places in Hong Kong are limited and that bribery to jump the queue was clearly unjust and eroded the city's long-standing reputation for integrity. She has said the severity of the offense was not determined by the amount of money involved, as all the defendants had used corrupt means to secure admission, seriously undermining fairness in the system. Therefore, sentences, she says, must carry strong deterrence. As for the former administrator Ramjan, who turned prosecution witness, she is due to be sentenced on April 20th. One of the defendants in this case is pregnant. The Correctional Services Department has mechanisms to handle childbirth in custody. Female inmates are mainly held at Thailand Center for Women. In general, once a pregnancy reaches around 30 weeks, specialized arrangements are made for the inmate to be admitted to the institution's hospital, where on-site doctors and trained correctional staff provide both antenatal and postnatal care. Under Hong Kong law, children born to inmates may remain with their mothers in custody until the mother completes her sentence or until the child reaches the age of 3. Wang Fuk Court's fire services contractor said they might have made errors on the checklist of the estate's annual fire services installation inspection. The statement was made at the 6th Independent Committee's hearing on the Tai Po fire. Mimo Singhai reports.
The public hearing on the Wang Fuk Court fire resumed at Central City Gallery on Tuesday morning. Li Shiwen, senior counsel of the Independent Committee, continued to question Zhong Kip-man, the director of Victory Fire Engineering, the fire safety contractor of Wang Fuk Court. When asked about the 2 water tank issues flagged in the annual fire services installation inspection checklist of Wang Fuk Court, such problems were not mentioned in the official certificate filed with the Fire Services Department. Zhong said the company might have marked it wrong on the checklist. The barrister asked Zhong why he would request workers to continue with the maintenance work when he knew they had not carried out testing on some fire safety equipment because of the shutdown system. Zhong said the repair work improves the situation as a whole. Li asked Zhong if he thought he was doing more good than harm, and the director agreed. Lok Sin-ying, a clerk at Wang Fuk Court and a witness from the ISS East Point, the property manager of the estate, testified in the afternoon hearing. The hearing shows that Lok had issued a job order to 2 workers to help Prestige Construction and Engineering, the estate's contractor, empty a water tank in 2025. In a written submission of Lok was shown, one of the workers said he had asked Lok about the matter because he knew it had to be handled by a registered fire services contractor. He said Lok asked him to follow the request of Prestige, but Lok said she had no memory of such a conversation and wasn't sure why Lok would say something like that. The hearing is adjourned until Wednesday, and Lok will continue to testify before her other ISS colleagues to do so. Mamos 9, TVB News.
Starting tomorrow, taxis will have to provide at least 2 electronic payment methods. The taxi trade says 90% or more than 47,000 cabbies have installed systems that support e-payment. The e-payment means include QR code facilitated ones, such as WeChat Pay Hong Kong, Alipay Hong Kong, or BOC Pay, or non-QR code e-payment means including Octopus cards, credit cards, or FPS. Authorities will deploy staff to inspect at taxi stands tomorrow. If passengers encounter cabbies who fail to provide e-payment means, they can report the case to the 1823 hotline. Without reasonable explanation for failure to comply, taxi drivers could face a maximum fine of $5,000 and 6-month imprisonment. The electric vehicle 141 replacement scheme is ending today. Car owners are required to complete all new vehicle registration procedures before the deadline to qualify for tax concessions.
At a showroom in Kowloon Bay, all electric vehicles have already been snapped up pending delivery after buyers complete final paperwork. This as the electric vehicle 141 replacement scheme concludes today. Some car dealers say they stopped taking orders last week in case paperwork cannot be processed in time upon the final day rush. A sales manager says even if deregistration of old vehicles can be handled in time, it's unlikely they can meet the deadline of licensing new EVs. He added that approval timelines at the Transport Department may take 6 to 8 weeks, meaning some buyers will only receive their vehicles in late April or early May. Some dealers, however, have contingency plans in place. This executive of a car dealership says they have 200 unsold vehicles registered under their company's name. That allows the cars to be resold later at prices under the expired scheme. He says the move also reduces the risk of customers losing eligibility because of paperwork errors. The 141 scheme was introduced to encourage drivers to scrap old vehicles and switch to EVs through first registration tax concessions. Lawmaker Adrian Ho says scrapping the scheme could weaken incentives for drivers to make the transition, potentially undermining Hong Kong's carbon reduction targets. He says if the EV sales plummet over the next 1 to 2 years, the government can consider rolling out a similar scheme.
According to the Financial Times, a broker for U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth attempted to make a big investment in major defense companies in the weeks leading up to the U.S.-Israeli attack on Iran. The FT report said Hegseth's broker at Morgan Stanley contacted BlackRock in February about making a multi-million-dollar investment in the asset manager's Defense Industrials Active ETF. The investment discussed by Hegseth's broker did not ultimately go ahead as the fund was not yet available for Morgan Stanley clients to buy. Chief Pentagon spokesman Sean Parnell said the story was entirely false and fabricated and demanded a retraction. And still ahead, challenges when upgrading subdivided units into basic housing units. 2 people are killed in traffic accident on Chiang Mai Bridge. Welcome back. Since the implementation of the Basic Housing Units Ordinance on March 1st, more than 850 units have already been registered for the 3-year grace period. While many landlords are racing to upgrade their subdivided units, some have overlooked critical technical details required by law as their projects near completion. Samantha Lee spoke with them.
The Basic Housing Units Ordinance mandates that only units verified by building professionals as meeting minimum living standards can be leased. While some landlords exit the market, others remain bullish on their rental prospects. Mr. Wang has spent $500,000 to renovate his flat, but found that the devil is in the details when he was preparing to hire a professional for certification. For instance, he mistakenly installed electricity meters that actually should be supplied directly by the power companies. His water facilities are in trouble too. The water meters he set up need to be approved by the Water Supplies Department. Mr. Wang said I followed my own ideas and also referred to the government's guidelines, but maybe I missed some of the details. The renovation process has been exhausting, that I have to supervise every single step. He said he hopes the government can give more explanation of the requirements. Bantan Chen, who has worked in the housing sector for 16 years, runs a consultancy to offer owners tailor-made renovation plans. He noted that many landlords are not fully aware of the technical requirements and complex procedures. He said the work involves a combination of water, electricity, fire safety, and things like ventilation and lighting. Landlords have to coordinate with different professionals for design, planning, and inspections. When the units are ready for recognition, landlords have to hire specific professionals to confirm compliance with the minimum standards. While it cost Mr. Wang $28,500 to certify his unit, the Hong Kong Institute of Surveyors said recognitions should cost around $15,000 for a 500 to 600 square feet flat, depending on its complexity.
Subject to the market competitions and also the flat conditions, the capacity and also the number of flats. I think the starting fee for the certifications is about $15,000, but of course excludes some additional service fees such as the minor works, also the structural assessment fee. So I also recommend the owners to do more comparisons about it.
As the Basic Housing Units Ordinance takes effect, we are seeing a new industry of consultants emerge to help owners navigate the new legal requirements. Samantha Lee, TVB News.
A fatal traffic accident on Chiang Mai Bridge last night left 2 people dead. That's after a bus allegedly failed to brake in time and rammed into a taxi. The bus driver has been arrested for dangerous driving.
The impact of the crash visible on the taxi's mangled rear and dented luggage. The front of the cab was also severely damaged. The bus's windscreen also gave way to the force of the collision. The crash unfolded at around 11 p.m. when a long-wind bus on route E32A was traveling along the slow lane towards the airport. The bus reportedly could not brake in time and plowed into a taxi. The taxi was parked on the same slow lane near Ma Wan after it broke down because of a suspected tire burst. It's understood the taxi has switched on its hazard lights. The 66-year-old taxi driver and 37-year-old male passenger were trapped inside the vehicle before being extricated. Both were certified dead after being rushed to hospital. A 66-year-old female passenger on the bus was also injured. The 49-year-old bus driver has been arrested on suspicion of dangerous driving causing death. Longwind Bus expressed condolences and has suspended the driver from duty with immediate effect.
Following the 2 sessions in Beijing, Chief Executive John Lee and the Hong Kong government are preparing the SAR's first 5-year plan. With newly appointed Secretary for Constitutional and Mainland Affairs Janice Tse tasked with coordinating the project. Priscilla Leung, a member of the Legislative Council and a delegate to the National People's Congress, gave a brief explanation of the initiative on TVB's Straight Talk program.
This is the first time it doesn't affect our existing free economy. It's just to set an operative plan for different bureaus and secretary. They have to work out for this 5-year KPI to talk with the counterpart in mainland department, specifically, not only the secretaries, but also department head and maybe even branch head, point by point.
Leung also said China's own 5-year plan shows Beijing's commitment and willingness to bear global responsibility as a big country under the very intensive global relationship. Leung added it's very important for every other country to have a look at China's 5-year plan because that means China emphasizes that it will play a key role in setting up international rules and order and convention, as well as the rules for development and trade. And that's the news. Thank you for watching.